All right. Let's see. So we're gonna try this last project, last guided project. Let's see. There I am. All right. So the back-end developer career path, we're gonna do build a web crawler. So like here I am, level 149, and basically most of the XP that you can get, I kind of have got it already. Right? So this is just showing completed 87 of 87 required, completed 11 of 11 optional. So personal project, haven't completed it yet, but most of these I have completed. Oh, looks like a couple or several have been added maybe to learn HTTP servers, so I could do those for some more XP. Capstone project haven't done. Um, and then these, you can see they're all done. But this one is not done yet. So I did some work on it previously, but I don't think I ever pushed it to GitHub, so it looks like I'm gonna just be starting from the beginning. Um, Actually, I probably did almost nothing on it, actually. So, let's look at this. So, in this project, we'll be building a web crawler in JavaScript using Node.js. To rank well in Google search, websites need to internally link pages one to another. Um, let's see. So this is a link to like cross-reference your own content. For example, my blog post about the benefits of cheap haircuts should probably have a link to my other blog post about the best places to get haircuts. So we're going to write a JavaScript application that generates an internal links report for any website on the internet by crawling each page of the site. Okay, nice. So before we dive into the project, let's make sure you are all set up properly. So you will need a code editor. So let's see, let's go into our projects here. So what do I have? So probably want to go into my boot dev projects, I guess. And I don't have one for the web crawler, right? So this is JavaScript web crawler. So the thing is, like, I finished the web crawler in Go. If we go back, whoops, I went back um, to the intro graphic. Okay, so if we go back, on the top page of this project, actually, where is the top page of this project? Build a web crawler JS. Course info page. Okay, so they have options for JavaScript and Go. And the Go one I finished previously. Okay, so anyway, into the JavaScript one. Okay, so we'll call it JavaScript, JavaScript web crawler. If I could even spell. All right, here we go. JavaScript web crawler. And then let's, I guess, put our git keep in here. And git init. Init commit. Okay, so let's push this, I guess, to my GitHub. I don't know, I'll use this account. So let's do a new repository. And again, so this is called JavaScript web crawler. Sure. And I don't need to initialize with anything. I'll just create and just copy this. Okay, cool. So now when we refresh here, so we have something. Okay. NVM installed. Let's take a quick look. Oh, interesting. Let's install it then. Installing. I guess we want to do this, probably. We probably have to add it to the ZSHRC, I guess, right? Sure, let's see what we get here. Okay. Close and reopen. Okay, sure. Nope. Okay, let's try this. Okay. So I guess we'll do that. So NVM installed. And we'll use Vim again. Vim is fine. So recommend NVM because it allows you to have multiple installations of Node.js on the same machine. So after installing NVM, add an NVM-RC file to the root of your project directory. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. And so we have the git keep and the NVM-RC. So we did that. So we can use NVM use. Okay. Let's see what we get. Nope. Let's put those other, let's put this in there again, I guess. Whoops. I'm still not super used to the auto completions or whatever. Not yet installed? Okay, here we go. Nice, nice. Okay, cool. Alright, so let's see what we need to do next. Okay, so we did that. So now we can do node version, and we should get the same thing we have in our NVM RC file, right? 2210, right? Well, actually 10 instead of 20, is that right? I'm in the wrong terminal, probably. Or so what did it say? Was it node version? 21.2. Okay, cool. All right, so that's actually, let me close this one. So a video walkthrough. Okay, so I already have this marked complete because I mean that was just a few small steps. So let's go to the next. npm init and hello world. Okay, so we'll go ahead and npm init here. Are we just gonna accept the defaults? Okay. Sure. And then we'll add a main.js file with this in it. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so now if we node main.js, we can see that, so that's good. So I guess we're starting. Most JS devs don't run the node command directly, they use it within an npm script. Fair enough, I guess. All right. Edit the package JSON file. Okay, so we'll have a start to node main.js. Okay, so let's take a look. All right, so we are supposed to have a start, right? Start, and it will say node main.js. Okay, so that's fine. And so we see the hello world. So then we should have a git ignore for the node modules. Let's take a look at those. So we have a package JSON and a main.js and an nvm rc. I don't have any node modules yet, so I mean I'll add it as to the git ignore as needed. Let's check out the next part. Test driven development. Okay, it looks like I had marked this as complete, I guess. So let's go ahead and run this. So now we should have some node modules. So let's take a look. Okay, so let's say package lock is good, but yeah, we just don't want node modules. Okay, then yeah, don't forget to add node modules to your git ignore file. I guess I'm not reading everything super well. Configure a test command. Okay, so there is a test stub in there, right? So it says error, no test specified, so we don't want that. We want to put, I guess, just this. Okay, then jest transform. Okay, let's add in a jest transform area. Jest transform. Is that it? Okay. Enables jest to use ES modules. Okay, sure. And then a function that accepts as input a URL string. Yeah, I did do this part already, but it's all right. It's not a lot. Okay, so we can stub out a function, write out a test, and then write out a code that passes the test. So let's go ahead and give that a shot here. So we want to export a normalize URL function, basically. So that's cool. So we'll go crawl JS, sure. We'll put this in there. So then we'll say normalize URL equals function. Normalize URL. And then it's going to take some argument or whatever, right? But we'll get to that. So we should look at the getting started guide, I guess, but I don't know if I'm going to look at that very much right now. We should, what else should we do? So the jest command will look for files that end in test.js. Okay, so we're going to create a crawl test.js. That makes sense, I guess. Test.js. Okay, sure. So we'll import something. All right, and some of this. Okay. Whoops. Let's do this again. That's a little better, maybe. Okay, so then write some tests. Okay, cool. So we'll just write some tests similar to whatever we saw in the getting started guide, I guess. So let's just grab a test like this, maybe. Let me just run that one first. So we'll go npm test. And it says cannot use import statement outside a module. Okay, okay. That's what the configuration was supposed to take care of, right? Where did it say that? Here, this enables, oh gosh. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, it's this. There we go. Um, Enables Jest to use ES modules. Experimental support. That's what we had here. Empty Jest transform property. Let's see. So it was like cannot use import statement outside a module. Okay, so then we have to look here, I guess. And it says experimental VM modules. Okay, so we have that. Okay, so ensure that you either disable code transforms by passing transform empty, or otherwise configure your transformer to ESM rather than the default common JS. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So import. Oh, I cannot read that text. Why is it like that? Jeez. I guess I've got it open somewhere else. Oh, yeah, right here. So I have blue here. Okay, so then where was I? All right. It's still blue. I can't read it very well. Is declared, but its value is never read. Okay, so that wasn't the problem. Cannot use import statements outside a module. I think this worked before. Let's see. Node, experimental VM modules, and then we're supposed to run jest like this, okay? And transform. All right. If you have some of your note, so this is in the crawl test.js. We try to import. Cannot use import statement outside a module. Wheel. I think this was supposed to be no big deal, right? Yeah, I seem to recall that it worked fine before. Okay, so yeah, so this is what we did. So why don't we just use require? Okay, well, let's see if it's any better if we quote unquote just use require. So we'll say um, I don't know. Whoops. Okay, so then we say like this. I think it's something like that. All right. Okay, not defined. Oh, okay, cool. So that's red. So then let's make that pass. Okay, so we went red, we went green. Let's commit. We want to add all that, right? Add the jest test stub. Okay, so then let's close this. Okay, all right, what's next? So we're supposed to actually add a test. So we configured that. It was supposed to enable Jest to use ES modules, but apparently not, but we're fine. So then, yeah, we got a red and a green, and then we committed. We have these, except we changed it to require. I don't know. I definitely have serious skill issues when it comes to require and import in Node, honestly. So write a few tests. So the function should take a single URL string and return the normalized version of the URL as a string. Try to test all the edge cases you can think of. Okay, so it was saying that we should make sure all of these end up looking the same. So it should be blog.boot.dev/path, regardless of which of these gets passed in. So I mean, I don't know. Okay, let's see. So let's go into our tests, crawl.test.js, and let's add some tests. So what do we want to say about this? So we're trying to normalize URLs. So we're going to say normalizes URLs, sure. We'll say expect, and then normalize, well, let's see. So we can do these in a loop, right? So I think. So Okay. So what URLs do we want? It was https blog.boot.dev, and then it just said path, and we had one with this, right? And then we had without the S, and then we had without the slash, the trailing slash. Okay. Yeah, let's start with just these four like we're given in the example. And then we'll say URLs for each. And then for each URL, we will say expect normalize URL. Wait a minute. So it was normalize URL with caps here, and caps here, and caps here. Oh, okay. But mine, I think, so when I paste, I don't like it with the caps. Let me just change it. Okay, so we'll expect normalize URL to be blog.boot.dev/path. Okay, so is that it? Let's see. Okay, sure, let's run that. And we should get, if we run that, we should get a red. Man, pretty slow start, but okay. So we got a red, good. So we received undefined where we expected blog.boot.dev/path. Okay, so any hints on, I mean, we can just do, I don't know, a replace of the start. Yeah, sure, let's just do a replace of the start. So in this function, we should pass in an input URL, right? And then just, I guess, return input URL, replace, and then at the start of it, if it says HTTP, and it could be an S or it might not, and then it could be a colon and a couple of these slashes. So these will be like this, I guess. So if that is at the start, then, and I guess it could be case insensitive, then I guess we will replace that with nothing. And then at the end, if there's a trailing slash, let's say if there's any number of trailing slashes, let's replace that with nothing, I guess. So it's a trailing slash like this, right? If it's more than one, that's fine, but it's right at the end. So replace that with nothing. Okay, so then I guess that's fine. My syntax highlighting does not look right at all. Okay, so let's see what the test looks like now. Okay, well, it passes. Let's add another test. Well, actually, let's commit that. So this is first test for the normalize URL function. Okay, so then remember it said edge cases, so obviously we haven't really covered any edge cases at all. I don't know that I even like to cover tons of edge cases myself. But in this case, it added up, or it, excuse me, it asked us to, so. maybe it would be good. So let's do a second test. So test. So we want to make sure that we convert to lowercase. So we'll say URLs. Whoops. Okay, so for this one, should we do just the same thing? So I don't know. So we'll say blog dot boot dot dev. Blog dot boot dot dev with a trailing slash. I don't know. And then we'll say blog dot boot dot dev. Okay, that's enough. Let's just call it that, and then move on. And then let's copy this. Something like that. Let's see. Okay, so here it said expected, oh, path. Let's get path off of there. So it was expecting to say blog boot dev. All right, so now we've got a red, so then let's make it green in our crawl file. Okay. So at the end, I believe we can just say to locale lowercase. Okay, so we turned it green. So I'll just say add the second test for the normalize function case insensitivity, I guess. All right, let's add a third test. So we looked at case. Now what does it say about if it has a fragment or a query at the end? Did we mention that? So, okay. Remember, this function should take a single URL string and return the normalized version of the URL as a string. This will help us later to detect whether two different URLs are the same web page, emphasized, which is all our users care about. So in that case, let's go ahead and get rid of fragments and query strings. So normalizes URLs with fragments and query strings. Okay, so URLs. So we'll have another one that's, I don't know, does it matter? Let's say we're still going to say boot.dev, but this time I'll put path to resource, and then at the end I'll put a hash heading, right? Okay, so that's one. We copy that. Okay, so then what if the heading what if the fragment has like a dash in it? We want to make sure that that is taken care of. And then let's see, we can have a fragment and a query string, right? Maybe. I don't remember whether one is supposed to go before the other, to be honest. Let's see. Hash property. So we can put the fragment there, and then is the query in here as well? No? Okay, so URL. The query string. URL. So do we have an example with both? Let's take a look. Fragment query. We can do a poo emoji. Good, good. I think I just skipped over something I needed to see. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Well, if I don't know, then I'm just gonna say I can do it either way, even if that's not technically correct. So I'm gonna put one with the query after, and I'll do one with the query before. And then let's do one with just the query. And then let's for sure do one that has multiple query params. And then let's try this and then just add a hash fragment at the end. Okay, so that might be a bit much, but whatever. So, whoops. So now, let's copy this again. All right. So now this should say, it should always say path to resource, okay? No trailing space. Honestly, some of these should probably have some caps in there somewhere too. Yeah, so no trailing slash. I think I said no trailing space. There shouldn't be trailing space either. In fact, I think I'll do trailing space in another test. Let's do another test. Normalizes URLs with space padding. Sure, let's say we're going to test that as well. So we'll say boot.dev space, 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 or something. And space, space, boot.dev slash, and last one, space, 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 https:// boot.dev space, 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 space. I don't know. Okay, so here we just want it to say boot.dev. Yep, that's all we want. Okay, and then what about here? Blog boot.dev path to resource. Okay, so let's try those. So those should both turn. Oh, menial issue says cheap viewers on vasigo.site. R3 is. Well, I love to hear about it. Thanks for thanks for bringing it to my attention. All right, so let's do npm test. Okay, so we got the two failed. Awesome, 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 awesome. And so it shows that we expected boot.dev, but we had boot.dev with some space padding. Okay, so let's fix that one first. Crawl.js. Okay, so let's just go ahead and trim Okay, so now does that one pass? Let's see. Okay, so that one does. All right, so now let's get rid of any kind of fragment and slash or query string that we have in there. So we'll go in here and let's do a replace. Let's see. It should probably be before we look for a trailing slash. Okay, so let me go ahead and just break these up onto separate lines a little bit. Okay, so before we do this, we'll go replace, and then we will put any combination of like a hash and a query string, we want to get rid of it. So it'll be, let's see, we already trimmed, so we want to look for like hash. So if there's any hash anywhere in there, I think we want to discard everything after any hash anywhere in there, and I believe the same is true of the hook. So like hash dot star, just get rid of it. Yeah, I think that's right. So literal hook dot star, just get rid of it. So I think, yeah, I believe it's everything after the hash, everything after the hook. I think we can just safely just get rid of it. So let's go npm test. Nope, it didn't work. It was supposed to say, oh, I missed the word blog. Let's see, blog was expected in there and I didn't receive it. Okay, so I messed up the test. Yeah, so let's, I have blog there, where, and that doesn't work. Okay. Add a couple more tests for normalize URL. MDM URL. No, 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 no. Why does it do that? I hate it. I actually really don't like it when it does that. I'm going to be honest. So what is a URL? Let's take a look. Okay, so we're going to look at the basic anatomy. So here we have the hook. So anchor here, parameters here. So extra parameters. Oh, you know what? I used commas instead of ands. That was dumb. Okay, let me go back and change it. Like I'd completely forgotten. I'm gonna leave that one, but let me do it like correctly this time. Where's my and? Heading equals first. So it should be like that. Dum-dum. I'm gonna just leave the incorrect one in there because it's not hurting anything. Okay, so then, yeah, so that's it. All right, let me just think of one more. I'm not gonna try. Oh, what does it say? Boss Scans followed you. Thanks for the follow, Boss Scans. Love ya. All right. Let me try and think of one more edge case here. I'm not going to try to exhaustively think of edge cases, but there was something else. So what if there are spaces in the URL itself? Or what if it contains like URL escaped type characters, like a %20 or whatever? So something like that we might want to take care of. So, so for example, if we have one URL that has like a literal space in it and another one that has a %20, do we want to do something with that? So like, for example, URL, what is it called? Encode URI component. So if we say https blog.boo.oot.dev, right? So in this case, it put the %20 here instead of the space, right? So if we have a %20, do we want to like normalize that in some way? So if we like decode URI component, https blog.boo.oot.dev, then it still looks the same. But then what if we change this to %20? I think that those should be the same. I think in Node, can we decode URI component? Let me see. I think we can. Node decode URI component. Let's see if it's included. So if I go into Node, can I decode URI component? I can. Okay, so can I just copy that same thing in there? Okay, cool. So I'm gonna say, let's just do a test. I'm just gonna look at the %20 because that's the first one I thought of, and then I'm gonna call it good and I'm gonna move on. So let's do, oh shoot, I'm still in Node. What am I doing? Okay, so let's do here, normalizes URLs which have URI encoded chars, I guess. I don't know. So then we'll say const URLs equals. Okay, so then I'm going to put that same one that I had with the %20 in it. And then let's also do like, but we're supposed to get rid of the HTTPS. So then what if like, what if we did this? So that should still, well, I believe, I'm actually, I am gonna say, I'm gonna put a comment in here. For now, I am going to say that this URL should be decoded first, and then the HTTPS should be discarded. So I'm not like, I don't think it's obvious that that's necessarily the right way to normalize this URL. That's what I'm going to say it should be for now, though. Okay, so let's copy this. All right, so in every case, it should just say blog.boot.dev, right? So we should get rid of the HTTPS. Oh, except it should have a space in it. Was that what it was? With the space in it? Okay, so that's what we want to get. All right, so that one failed, so we got that one red. All right, so now let's go ahead and do the decode thing. Crawl.js. And so we're going to say decode URI component Yep. I think that's pretty much it. So we'll trim, so we'll decode first, then trim, then replace the HTTPS. Let's see if that's right. Okay. So, I mean, that's obviously not like an exhaustive list of edge cases, but that's as many as I intend to do right now. I'm going to move on. Add a test for normalizing URLs with escaped characters. Okay, cool. Or they're not even escaped, they're URI encoded, but whatever. So, let's close this. Let's close these, and let's see what we're supposed to do next. Okay, so write a few tests, gotcha. Try to test all the edge cases you can think of. Yeah, I'm not gonna go that far, but I've tested some edge cases. Let's move on. So to run your tests, type npm run test into the console. This works because you added the test script to package JSON. You know, although I still am like missing some obvious edge cases like empty strings or nulls and stuff like that. Okay, fine. Let's just do one more. Last one. Test. Normalize URL does not choke on obvious bad inputs. So const URLs equals, and so then we'll put some things like just an object, I guess, an empty array maybe, an empty string, an undefined, a null, a true, a false, a 0, a 1. I mean, let's not spend too much time on this. This is the dumb kind of test edge case, but whatever. I thought of it, so I'm adding it, and then I'm gonna move on. All right, so in this case, I'm just gonna say that we're gonna do an empty string regardless. All right. Okay, so let's npm test. It should be red. Okay, cool. So we got object. Nope, can't do it. So let's do crawl. Yeah, so object, that's an obvious error, right? All right, so we'll say if input, or let's say if not input URL instance of string. I think that should take care of some of them. Then we return empty string. Nope, I still got object, so I messed that up. I think I need to brush up on my JavaScript a little bit. So let's see. Instance of string. Unexpected token instance of. So A equals A instance of string. False. Okay. But I still got object somewhere. On which one? Which one did I get object? So if it's not, wait a minute. Okay, so expected. Oh, I messed one up. Okay, hold on. String.is. It's not instance of object. Okay, we don't want instance of, we want dot is Shoot, why don't I? What is this? Off obstinacy. Best viewers on Vasigo.site R3 is. Well, you know, if two people are saying it, it's got to be true. I know this. I absolutely know this. So let's see. Why do I not remember how to test that it's a string? Um, is string? Shoot, I'm gonna look it up. Test is string. Is it maybe on object? No, wait. Object dot is a string. So what about B? No, so it's not that. Man, I'm drawing a blank for a weirdly long time here. ToString, ToLocaleString. String dot no B instance of string. Yeah, that's not it. It's JavaScript check string type. Type of. Okay, I think I was thinking that type of was Python. Man, I think I've messed myself up. Okay, it's fine. It's fine as long as we figure out what to do. So if not type of equals okay. Oh, all right. Does not choke on obvious bad inputs. Okay. Add one last edge case test for the normalize URL function. Okay, cool. All right, so run your tests. Recommend using the URL object. Oh, interesting. You know what they did? It looks like these, they're saying that they wrote tests for all the edge cases first and then wrote the function. Oh, I wouldn't have done it that way. I am going to accept a quest. I don't know if I might be able to get 5,000. I'm going to try it. Okay. So yeah, so let's move on to the next step. Okay, so this one I have not yet marked complete. Dependencies and URL extraction. Let's do it. So our link tracker will need to know how to read a page of HTML text and extract links. For example, the following HTML page has a single link to blog.boot.dev. Yay! We found a link. Okay, fun. So we want to write a new function called getURLs from HTML in the same crawl.js file. All right. It takes a string of HTML as input and returns a list of all the link URLs. Okay, cool. Why in the same file? Does that seem weird at all? I guess it's fine. So we'll use the JS DOM, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so added it to the package lock, and then let's see, it says, I'll try not to give too many hints. You should go read the JS DOM docs. That said, here are a few. Okay, so I don't think we're going to be able to import because it choked on that before. But we can just require, it's fine. We could do a new JS DOM for an HTML body. That sounds fun. And then check it out. We can even use query selector all. Amazing. Amazing. Well, actually, that does seem like a good amount of hints now that I'm looking at it. Okay, so get URLs from HTML. Interesting. Interesting, interesting. So we're going to have some tests. So it says write some tests before writing your code. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Like, we go red, green, but like over here, it was like saying try to test all the edge cases you can think of before writing the function. I don't know. I go red, green much more granularly than that. But okay. Write some tests before writing your code. So test that relative URLs are converted to absolute URLs. Test to be sure that you find all the anchor elements in a body of HTML. Okay, so we're going to have to pass in a base URL in order to turn our relative URLs to the absolute URLs. And then we want to be sure that we don't miss any A elements that have their own hrefs. And so that's pretty much it. So I guess that's pretty simple. I don't know if we're worried about, like, what if a lot of the hrefs are just to the same page? Maybe they're to anchors on the same page, right? They might have fragments. But either way, I think it's fine. So we already installed the JS DOM. I don't really think I want it in the same. I guess it's fine in the same crawl.js file. Okay, so let's create our tests. So I guess first of all, let's go back into here and let's add another function. So this one is called get URLs from HTML. So get URLs from HTML. From HTML, and we pass in what we said, HTML body, and we pass in base URL. Sure. Okay, so that one is a stub, but we'll add it to our exports. And okay, so that's cool. Let's add it to our tests. All right, so up at the top here, we're gonna say we want to import this as well. Okay, cool. And then down here, let's add another test. So test. And they said we want at least a couple tests that are suggested here. So relative URLs are converted to absolute URLs. Sounds like a good start to me. And then, so here we want to say, I might have to think about this for a sec. So we're going to have to pass in some HTML body that has relative URLs in it. Okay, so let's say we have a const HTML test body. And so then let's start with the example that they gave, maybe. Okay. And then, so this one has an href in it, all right. So now we got to add some more, I guess, right? So let's add another one. So this time it should be a relative a relative URL, right? So let's put relative URL here, right? I feel okay about maybe just starting with that much. So let's say expect, and so this function, we're going to pass back like a list of normalized URLs, right? Or an array, I guess, in our JavaScript terminology. So unnormalized, oh wait, unnormalized. So what did we have to normalize for? Are we going to normalize it here, I guess? Oh, shoot. Why does it say it should be unnormalized? So for the crawl page, so apparently we're going to get the normalized version later. That's apparently quite a bit later. All right, so let's put in a test. So let me look at jest. So we're gonna get back an array, right? Jest getting started. So matchers. Okay, so 2b, 2 equal, and then they put 1 and 2. Want to check the value of an object, use 2 equal. Okay, so we'll just say 2 equal. So we'll expect get URLs from HTML. We'll put in the HTML test body, and we'll put in the base URL. In this case, let's say it's blog.boot.dev. And so we'll get that, and then we'll say 2 equal, and then we'll put in the list of URLs that we expect, right? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So we'll put blog.boot.dev. I'm still not sure about unnormalized. Like, I feel like I want them to be normalized. It says unnormalized. I don't know. Okay, sure. So if it's got to be unnormalized, then it's got to be the exact same thing. Except the difference being that we have to put the base URL on the front. So this one will be blog.boot.dev/relative URL. Okay, so I think the logic, so let me put something here, let me put a comment. I think the logic of relative URLs is just that if it starts with a leading slash, whoops, then it is a relative URL. Otherwise, it is an absolute URL. Okay, let's see if that matches up at all with what's on MDN. MDN relative URL. Relative URL. Let's take a look. Whoops. Relative. Okay, so let's see. Relative URL string. A special scheme that is not file. Uh-oh. So, wait, if the path part starts with slash, Oh no. Okay, so domain, okay, hold on. Scheme relative URL starts with double slash, only the protocol is missing. Okay. I guess we've got to do all of these, probably. So let's do the scheme relative URL, the domain relative URL, then there's a sub-resource. The protocol and domain name are missing. The path doesn't begin with slash. Okay, so let's undo that comment. I was trying to make it easy on myself, but in the silliest way, I guess. Okay, going back in the directory tree, so the path begins with 2 dots, and then anchor only. All parts are missing except the anchor. Okay, so let's do a scheme relative URL. So in this case, we start with // and let's just put google.com maybe this time, and we'll put scheme relative URL, sure. Okay, next, let's do a domain relative URL. That's what we already have here. Okay, let's do a sub-resource. Okay, so if it's a sub-resource, then we need to find the domain in a subdirectory of the one containing the current resource. So really, we ought to have some kind of a path on here. Path to current page, right? Like that. So then if it's a sub-resource, then we're going to put some other resource here, maybe. And then we're going to say that is a sub-resource. Sure. Okay, so then we need a, going back in the directory tree. So a href equals, and we'll just put dot dot slash sibling resource. I don't know. And so then we'll go put back up the directory tree. Okay, sure. And then lastly, we want anchor only. So a href equals, we put the hash, anchor only, and that says anchor only. Should I put something in here for it to like link to? Yeah, sure, I will. Top of body. Okay, so if we put a p id equals anchor only, then we can link to that from below. We can go to boot.dev with a span here. We can say hi and go to a relative URL. Okay, so then that's it. So then our first A should go to https://blog.boot.dev. Okay. All right, so then if it's a relative URL, then we need to go to blog.boot.dev / and so if it's a relative URL, we go back to the, we keep the domain the same, but we drop the path, I believe, right? Okay. Okay, so then in the case of the sub-resource, we need to go blog.boot.dev / path to current page, and then we need to put some other resource. Okay, sure. Then, oops. Okay, so then here, it's a back up the directory tree, so we need to go blog.boot.dev, and then we need to go path to, but then we don't go current page, we go sibling resource, okay. Then for anchor only, we need to just use the exact same thing as what we have. So blog boot.dev/path to current page. Okay, let me do one more that goes up the directory tree just one further. So we'll go ahref equals, and this time we'll go dot dot and dot dot again, and this is what, a cousin resource, and this is called further back up the directory tree. Okay, so then down here we'll put blog boot.dev/path cousin resource. And there you have it. Okay, so those are relative URLs converted to absolute URLs. Okay, cool. So then, I mean, that's the whole test, actually. So let's see if that will work. Okay. Oh, nope, it won't. Missing after argument list on 119. Okay. How about now? Okay, so that one failed. All right, I'm gonna step aside for 2 minutes for a sec here. BRB. BRB. And I'll be right back. Okay, okay. Here we go. So what are we looking for here? Okay, so we're gonna try to make this work. Okay. So it said we expected to get all of these things, and we didn't get anything. Darn. All right. So let's go into our crawl. Okay, so first of all, let's use this JS DOM that was suggested. We already installed it, right? So might as well use it. I'm gonna close some of these. Okay, so it said let's use the JS DOM. So we'll say const JS DOM equals require JS DOM. Okay, so we'll start like that. Then when we get into here, let me just copy this. New JS DOM. Okay. So here, let's say const DOM equals. All right. And then we're going to do this. DOM window document query selector all A. Okay, that sounds like a good start. Let's just, well, let's say, let's paste that. And let's say that we're just going to call those nodes. And let me just return those nodes to see what that gets us so far. So now if we run it, we find we expected these links, but instead we got these hrefs. Interesting, interesting. So let me just beef up the test with one other thing. So when we do this, let's say that we don't do this. Let's say that instead we say const results equals, all right, and then we'll say expect results to equal, but first, let's say, oh, actually, hold on. Let's not even do that either. Let's instead go, like, const expected equals, like that, right? And then down here, we'll say expect results to equal expected. Okay. But before we even do that, let me just say expect results length to be expected length. Okay, so I did not get the correct length. I got expected 6 and received 7. Okay, so let me see. I might have messed that up in the test again. So I have 6 expected. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, I can see that there are 7 there. Which one did I miss? I got the first, the absolute URL, and then the rest are all relative, right? So this one's not even right. It should, oh wait, actually that is right. Never mind. Oh, I missed Google. I missed Google. So Google is another relative, but it's not on the same site. So this one, it should be just, so yeah, I think it's / google.com is, I believe, what I expect. Because I don't think I'm going to necessarily try to put HTTPS on the front, because HTTPS is not on the front of what I passed in here. Maybe it should be, but it's not. Well, I guess, note, I did not include the protocol on the front of the base URL. I don't think it's necessary, but I'm not positive. Okay. Okay, so let's run it again. npm test. Okay, so this time we did get the lengths to match. Okay, so we expected to get all these links, and then instead we got all of these HTML elements. All right, cool. So that's progress, I guess. Let's see what else we want to say. Okay, so let's just, instead of returning the links, let's go ahead and return the hrefs from each link. That's not the full answer, but that's like a start. So then we'll say const hrefs equals nodes map node. So for each node, we will take the href off of it. And then instead of returning nodes, return hrefs. Nodes.map is not a function. Okay, so it's not an array, but that's okay. If it's not an array, we can just spread it into an array. Okay, try again. All right, so interesting. So we got expected sick. Wait a minute. So we're looking at deep equality. And so we got this. Okay, so did we expect to take that trailing slash off the end? That might be a mistake in the test again. So there's no slash at the end there, and there's no slash at the end here. So the slash is being added by the JS DOM. That's a little weird. That's not what I expected. Okay, so a slash was added at the end. So this one just came out as relative URL. This one came out as google.com. So this one did match. That one works. So then we're supposed to put the base URL at the front of each URL if it is not an absolute URL. So if it starts with HTTPS or HTTP or just a slash slash, then we don't want to put anything on the front. So let's do that. Okay, so how did it put it again here? It said test that relative URLs are converted to absolute URLs. So that's what we're going to start to do here. Absolute URLs equals hrefs.map. So here we want to say if href.match, let's say if not href.match. Okay, so we want at the very beginning, we want to see HTTP. It could have an S or it could not, and a colon, but that part is actually not required. And then double slash, which we have to do like this. And then, yeah, that's it. It could be case insensitive, probably. So if it matches that, then it's good. But if it doesn't match, then we return base URL plus href. Now, of course, this is not handling cases where like we have to go back up the tree or whatever, but let's just do this to start. And so then otherwise return href. Okay. So then here let's return absolute URLs. Okay, so just doing it bit by bit, iterating on it. Okay, so wait a minute, unexpected token return. Okay, so if, oh, yep, I missed a paren. Okay, so test. Okay, cool. So let's look. So Google is still good. This one's good. We still have the slash. Haven't decided what to do about that. Okay, so blog.boot.dev slash path to current page relative URL. Okay, so that one's not right yet. Some other resource, so there should have been a slash here. In fact, that's the only one that potentially should have maybe worked. So let's put a slash in there. Like that, right? Okay, let's try it again. Okay, so that one matches now. So then path to sibling resource, we ended up with this dot dot. So we're going to have to take care of that. Of course, oh, interesting. So this one came out saying about blank. That's a little crazy. About blank. So if we see that about blank hash, then I guess we're just going to drop it completely. But, yeah, so a couple of them are matching now. Let's take care of this about blank hash next. So that'll be like maybe the basic idea. But now we need to check. So if href match, so at the beginning, if it says about blank hash like that, case insensitive probably, then in that case we return base URL, right? Okay, let's look. Oh. I made the same mistake again. Gotta watch that. Okay. So now that one matched. Okay, cool. All right, so let's save that one. How about this one? Relative URL. So in the case of relative URL, it started with a single slash, all right? So that means we have to put it on just this part before the single slash. Okay. We've got to be careful, though, because we don't want to do anything if there is a double slash. We're just looking for if there's like a single slash with no other slash. Okay, so let's look at that. Okay, so in this case, we're going to say if href match, and so it's right at the start, there is a single slash, and then some character that is not a single slash. Okay. So in that case, we need to combine the base URL but only the domain part. So we'll say const domain part equals base URL match. And so that's going to be everything from the start up until we find the first instance of a slash followed by not a slash. So the domain is going to be this whole part. And that could be just like dot star, right? Now, if we do dot star, it's got to be lazy because we want to go only up to the first instance of this. So is it dot? I don't remember that super well. Let's see. MDN regex lazy match quantifiers. Oh, the question went after the star. Okay, so I did mess it up. Whoops. Dot star hook. Okay, so then if it matches that, okay, so what if it doesn't match that? Then there is no domain part, right? So let's say this is domain match. So then let's say const domain, excuse me, domain part equals domain match. So if it did match, then we take that part. Otherwise, so if it doesn't match, then it's just the whole base URL. So then we return domain part slash href. Okay. Same error again? No, a different one. If href, yep, same error again. Something about this, I've never really done JavaScript in this editor. So I guess it's total skill issues all over the place. Okay. All right, so okay, so this one did match now. Is that the one I was trying for? No. This is the one I was trying for. Relative URL. Okay, so I ended up with an extra slash in there. Okay. So, yeah, that was just an oversight. Let's get rid of that. All right. Okay, so that one matches now. Okay. So then this one, it ended up with a trailing slash for whatever reason. Why did it end up with a trailing slash? I'm not even sure. So let's see. Because there's not a trailing slash here, but it came out with a trailing slash when we put it through JS DOM. So I'm not exactly sure why. So I could just put the trailing slash here in expected, potentially. Okay, let me put a comment. So JS DOM put a trailing slash at the end of the domain. Not sure why, but I am putting it here as well for now. Okay, so let's try that. Okay, so that one matched. Okay, so now we just need to do the domain relative, or what was it called? I don't know why I said it like that. Okay, I'm lost. So the up the directory tree. We need to go up the directory tree. Okay. So let's go in there. So we're gonna say, so we checked this, returned, checked this, returned, and then returned this by default. So we need to check one more thing, which is gonna be if, or no, actually this one is while href.match, and so this is just 2 dots at the very start. Easy peasy. So at the start, there are 2 literal dots. So while that is true, we want to say href. Oh wait, does it have to be a slash after those? I think it has to be a slash after those too, right? Dot slash. Yeah, I don't think it. I don't. Shoot. Let me look. So where were we on MDN? The was it here, the URL? Okay, right here. Going back in the directory tree, the path begins with dot dot. Okay, so it's the path beginning with dot dot. So then I mean, there's also the possibility of a dot dot somewhere in there, but I don't think we're going to see, I'm not going to worry about dot dot somewhere in the middle, just at the front. Okay, so while href dot match this, so we're going to have to take stuff off the base URL. So I'm going to say let base URL partial equal base URL, I guess. So href in this case is going to be href dot, so yeah. Okay, let me put a comment here. For now, I am only considering the case where dot dot is followed directly by slash. I'm not sure yet what to do if dot dot is followed by anything else. I'm not sure it's even valid for it to be followed by anything else. So anyway, so I'm going to put the slash, the literal slash right here. So then we're going to replace the literal dot, literal slash with nothing. Oops, that's supposed to be this. There we go. Right at the start. And then base URL partial equals base URL partial replace. So then we're gonna go with like anything other than a slash. Wait a minute. So if it's this, so it's got to be exactly one slash, so a literal slash, and then anything that is anything else besides a literal slash, star, up to the end, right? And then replace that with nothing. Okay. Except, okay, so then we have to put this whole thing into an if, actually. So if href match do we have to put the, I'm just going to put the whole thing in the if. It might not be necessary, but I think it's more straightforward. Okay, so now, after we've done that, we are going to return, and it's going to be base URL partial, right? And then a slash, I think. Yeah, slash, I think, and then href. Okay. Pass. Amazing. So that's a pretty good start. So we're going to say git add create the, and what was this called? Get URLs from HTML. Get URLs from HTML function. Okay, cool. So that's good. All right, what else do we need to say or do about this? Oh, I noticed this file is pretty ugly. Yeah, that's really not formatted well. Let me see if I can get prettier going here. I don't remember how to get it started. Prettier. Opinionated code formatter. Let's do it. So we're going to work with JavaScript. Where's the getting started? Should we say install? Okay, let's do that. Okay. Create an empty config file to let editors and other tools know you are using Prettier. Sure, okay. Okay, so we added the Prettier RC, and there's, what, nothing in it? Okay. And then Prettier ignore. Let's take a look. Ignore artifacts, build coverage. Okay, sure. And then now format all files with Prettier. Cool. So let's totally put that into our package JSON. Well, that was sure quick and easy. Love it. Absolutely love it. So scripts, I'll say format. We'll just do that. And that's it. npm run format. Love it. Love it. Love it. And let's see if it looks better. It should. Yes, much better. Much, much better. Okay, cool. Add Prettier form. All right, cool. Now, what else do we need to do? So we needed a test to be sure you find all the anchor elements. So like that's already done and figured out, I think. I think the only thing we might want to worry about would be like if there were anchor elements that were somehow hidden. But if we use this query selector all A, it's just going to return all of them. It's no big deal. So I am going to mark this complete, but let's go ahead and hit a potion first. I've got plenty of them, so might as well. Done with this step. Yeah, baby. Oh, that's only worth 178? No! 178? Ah! It's a ripoff. Alright, what's next? Main. Okay, so let's get to work on the actual application. Our program takes as a command line argument the website URL we want to crawl, or at least the page we want to start from. So remember, you can run the program itself using npm. Alright, so where base URL, I don't think we've set it up for a base URL yet, have we? Let's see. It just goes node main.js. So we'll see. So base URL is the root URL of the website we want to crawl. For example, you can test with my blog if you want, wagslane dev, okay. Create a main function and call it. Okay. Let's just copy that. So it was main.js. Function main and call main. Okay, I'm cool with it. Okay, so then you will need to process command line arguments for this step. Okay, so all your main function should do at this point is, okay, so if the number of command line arguments is less than 1, print an error and exit. Okay, so let's take a look at this link. So process argv returns an array containing the command line arguments passed when the Node.js process was launched. The first element will be process exec path. Okay. So, sure, I'm just gonna go ahead and let's do this part first. Okay, so we want to say const argv equals require node process. So then we're going to do this, right? Whoops. Okay, so it says node and it says main.js. Okay, that's a good start. But we want to, okay, so if it was less than 1, print an error and exit. Okay, so we're going to say, get rid of that. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. So now let's just say args equals argv slice 2. And then we'll say if args length less than 1. And we'll say console log 1 command line argument is required. Okay. And then we'll say else if args.length greater than 1, console log no more than 1 command line argument is allowed. Sure. Else, so in else, we are going to do the actual thing. Starting crawl. Okay, let's say starting crawl beginning with args 0. Okay, something like that. Okay, and then we'll have to fill in what happens after that. But let's just do that part. Oh man. Oh, what the heck? I've done that almost every single time. That's crazy. One command line argument is required. Okay. Starting crawl. And it says, okay. All right, so then this isn't a unit test, just run the dang thing. Hey, you know what? That was pretty quick. I still have plenty of potion left. All right, cool. You're on the leaderboard. All right, good to see it, good to see it. But I'm going to need a lot more XP to level up. All right. Okay, let's go back. All right. Crawl the page. So let's start crawling real web pages. All right, so for these remaining steps, you'll need a website you can crawl, preferably a small one with less than 100 pages so the crawling doesn't take all day. You can use my personal blog, wagslane.dev, if you don't have another in mind. Okay, so create a crawl page function in crawl.js. For now, it will just take a URL. We will fetch, and then, yeah, okay, let's see. So can we just fetch in a node baseline widely available? Let's just see. So if we're trying to fetch this, so we can go onto this page and we can fetch this, right? And then we get, oh, CORS error. That's crazy. Isn't this the exact page that I'm on? Oh, that's crazy. No, oh, it's because I'm on www. Wow, that's wild. All right, www. Okay, so we can do that, and we can get the page. If we want to like actually look at it, I guess we go. Well, that would be the response. Right? So with fetch, we can totally do that. Do we have fetch in node? Let's take a look. Fetch. Oh, we do. Okay, good. Okay, let's copy this exact same thing then. I'm pretty sure we didn't used to have fetch in node. That's nice. That's a very convenient thing to have. Okay, so just paste that. And okay, well, this looks fine. We got the same thing. Okay, easy peasy then. Easy peasy. All right. Okay, I'm gonna stop and clear that. Okay, so let's see. All right, so we want to go into the crawl, and we want a new function. So this is going to be called, close these again. So it's gonna be called crawl page. We are gonna pass in a URL. Okay, so when we're at the bottom, we want to make sure that's in here. Okay, and then we are going to want to go use fetch. Okay, so let me just paste this. Okay, so let me just put in a couple of new lines. And then, so we don't want this. We want URL. Okay, use fetch to fetch the web page. If the status code is error level, print an error and return. Okay. Let me see. Let's go back to this wags. And then if we do this fetch, so we return this, return, there we go. But before returning, we want to go console log response status. I don't know if that's what it is. Okay, it says 200. Let's not console log all that HTML necessarily. Let's just see how long it is. Okay, so we are going to get a 200 status. All right. So here we are going to say if response status, and we do think it was for sure a number, right? Okay. If response status greater than or equal to 400, then what did it say? We'll just do it. We'll just put an error message, print an error and return. So we'll say console log got error code. We'll put that status. Okay, so then we don't want to really like console log this page text either, right? Let's just say length again. Okay, so it says print an error and return. So if I want to return from here, then I'm just gonna honestly like throw an error. Or actually, okay, so if this is in the then, shoot. So we return the promise with this text. I feel like I'm just gonna throw here, but I don't actually remember. I think that if I throw here, then we end up in a catch down here. Okay, let's just say that this is going to be throw. Okay, so it says that. So now in the main, let's go ahead and invoke that function. So we'll say, what is it? Crawl page. And then we have to require that. So we'll say const crawl page equals require, and it's dot slash crawl, right? Okay, error invalid URL. Cool. Okay, so now let's try it with this. And now it says, oh, so now it's okay. All right, that's good. That's good. Is there something we can put here that'll give us a 404? Okay. Let's try that. Error. Got error code 404. Okay, love it. Love it, love it, love it. So, actually, that's good. Let's commit. Add the stub for the crawl page function. Okay, so now, so we did this. We used the fetch. We did print the error. Okay, so if the context type is not text HTML, print an error and return. Oh, did I say context type? Sorry. I mean content type. Okay, so now let's look here. Console.log response dot, well, let's just log the response real quick. So in the response, we have headers. But if we want to do anything with the headers, I think we have to, like, I don't know, look into it in some way. I think we do get. Okay. So let's try that. Console log headers get, excuse me, response headers get content type. Okay, let's see. Missing. Okay, so it does indeed say text/HTML. Okay, cool. So if the content type header is not text/HTML, print an error and return. Low-cost subtitle says best viewers on sardonyx.newix.top. Well, that's quite a name. /NSYO. I must say, two other people suggested Vasigo site, but I must say, Sardonyx Newix, I don't know how to say it exactly, but it's an amazing name. Okay, so let's look at the text HTML. Okay. So we're going to go into the Vim, crawl.js. Okay, so we're going to say if not response headers get content type begins or starts with text HTML, right? And let's say to locale lowercase, right? So in that case, we will again throw new error and say got unsupported content type, and we will put response headers get content type, right? Okay. What site should we look at to get a different content type? This one? That's a good example. Potentially. Let's try it out. Start. So this one is an index XML. Okay, so it says got unsupported content type application XML. Cool, cool. All right, so now what if we go back to normal? Okay, that's great. So let's commit that. Well, let me run prettier. Oh, there we go. Okay, so git status. Check the content type when fetching a page. All right, so then what does it say? Otherwise, just print the HTML body as a string and be done. Yeah, I mean, I already did that, and it was kind of a lot. Remember to use try catch as appropriate for anything that could result in an error. Let's take a look. So I threw these, so that's good. And then we catch here. I think that's working okay. I'm not too worried about that at the moment. Okay, I think I'm not printing this, but I did print it before. I'm just going to put, I don't want, oh no, not here. My bad. I don't want to print the HTML because it's so much. But if I wanted to, I could. So console log page text. So I'm just going to say finish up lesson 6. Finish up lesson 6. I think it's finished. Let me go back and npm start this again. Okay, so that's okay. And then again, if we do the unsupported content type, we get unsupported content type application /XML. Wonderful. Okay, cool. All right, so that's good. So let's, oh, yay, I still have potion time left. Amazing. 2:38, that's not too shabby. We're getting there. Okay, adding recursion. Okay, recursion. This is going to be the largest step so far and will require the most figuring it out on your own. If you get stuck, please reach out in the Discord. All right, we're going to update the crawl page function to be recursive, which means it's a function that will call itself. So we do this because we want to continue to crawl each URL we find on a page until we've crawled every page on the site. All right. So crawl, okay, so crawl page will now take 3 arguments: base URL, current URL, and pages. Okay, so the current URL parameter is the current URL we're crawling. In the first call to crawl page, this will just be a copy of the base URL. But as we make further fetch requests to all the URLs we find on the base URL, the current URL value will change while the base stays the same. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. The pages object will be used to keep track of the number of times we've seen each internal link. This function needs to always return an updated version of this object. Okay. So this is a good use case for default parameters. All right, so crawl page. Base URL, current URL equals base URL, nice, and pages equals empty object, amazing. Okay, so sure, let's go into there and let's just do what they suggest, baby. So we'll put this, so it'll be cur equals URL. Let's see, so we're, okay, so I'm just going to leave that as URL, that's what's already there. So then this one will be current URL equals, now yeah, let's go ahead and change it. Base URL, because a lot of them are going to have to be current URL. Base URL, and pages equals this. Okay, cool. All right, so when we fetch, we need to fetch current URL. Okay. Oh, that's the only place we're using it so far. Okay, cool. Okay, so make sure the current URL is on the same domain as the base URL. If it's not, just return the current pages. Okay, cool. We don't want to crawl the entire internet, just the domain in question. Okay, so I have get URLs from HTML, but I don't have one to get like the domain, right? So I have this domain part here. So I want to separate this out to be able to use it elsewhere. So const get domain part from URL, I guess. URL. Or actually equals function get domain apart from URL. And it's basically going to be this exact part, right? Yeah, just these two lines, I believe. So then in here, we'll say, excuse me, const domain part equals this from href? No, from base URL, right? And then these should just be URL. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, let's see what else. So make sure the current URL is on the same domain as the base URL. Okay. So here we say if get domain part from URL base URL is not equal get domain part from URL current URL, right? Then we just return pages. All right, so we can't really do that. So we're using a fetch. So this crawl page should really return a promise, I think. Doesn't really mention that here. It doesn't say anything about a promise. Does it say anything about async or await? Okay, well, regardless, that's what it needs to be. So I think it needs to be returning a promise. So we'll just say return new promise, resolve, reject, right? So then here, instead of return, we say resolve pages. Okay, so we resolve pages. So that's not, yeah, that's not what they said. They said, if not, just return the current pages. But we're returning a promise in this case, and I'm going to resolve pages. I think that way's fine. So get a normalized version of the current URL. So we'll say const normalized current URL equals normalized URL current. Okay, so then we'll use that here, right? If the pages object already has an entry for the normalized version of the current URL, just increment the count and return the current pages. Okay, so if all this, then we resolve. Now, of course, everything else needs to be in an else. So that should match up here. Okay, so now we're going to say if normalized current URL in pages, so then in this case, pages will increment, and then we'll resolve pages, right? Okay, so then the rest of this, again, goes in an else. Okay. Okay, so if we'll resolve pages, so else will fetch. Okay, so otherwise, add an entry to the pages object for the normalized version. Oh, what is this? Inclined ceremony says cheap viewers on sardonyxwix.top/nsyo. Hey, if two people say it, it's gotta be true, baby. So apparently here, we're gonna go ahead and add an entry to the pages before we even fetch. And then break out the logic. I'm not even sure I want to do that. So let me just do step 4 first. So apparently we're going to say that we just are going to say pages normalized current URL equals 1. 1. There we go. Okay, so break out the logic for fetching the current URL and parsing the HTML into its own function. This will help keep the crawl functionality readable and manageable, and call the new function inside crawl page. I'm not sure yet that I totally want to do that. It might be okay, but I want to read through first. So assuming all went well with the fetch request in the new function, get all the URLs from the response body HTML. Okay. Recursively crawl each URL you found on the page and update the pages to keep an aggregate count. Finally, return the updated pages object. Okay, I think this is fine. So let's look for the part that we're supposed to be breaking out into its own area. So it's this, right? All the way up to fetch. So let's put that into another function here. So this is going to be called const fetch HTML equals function fetch HTML URL. Okay. So that should match there. Okay, so then this one also returns a promise. So we'll return a new promise. Resolve, reject. Okay, so if we catch an error, then at this point we are going to reject error, I guess. So here I'm going to resolve page text. Okay. Yeah, that's right. So then when we get to this point, we are going to say fetch HTML normalized current URL, right? Now let me go back up here. So yeah, this should just be URL. Okay, so then we are going to say we get the page text. And we also do need to catch here. So I'm not even going to console log the error here. I am going to do it here. Okay. And regardless, then we do need to reject here. Probably. Well, actually, so yeah, if we fetch one and it doesn't work, then that doesn't necessarily mean we need to reject crawl page. We probably still want to resolve it with the pages. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so we did this. Okay, so get all the URLs from the response body HTML. Okay, cool. So if we did in fact get the page text, then we are going to get URLs from HTML page text. All right, and that will be const URLs. Okay. Recursively crawl each URL you found on the page and update the pages to keep an aggregate count. Okay, so wait, where do we normalize? Get a normalized version of the current URL. Okay, cool. So then we'll say resolve crawl page base URL. Oh no. Wait, shoot. We're gonna say URLs for each. No, shoot, we can't do that either. I think we have to do we have to do promise.all? Promise all URLs map Dang, that's not gonna work. We have to keep updating the pages object. So let me think for a sec. So the pages objects each time we we can really only do them one at a time, I guess. I guess we can really only fetch them one at a time because we need to update the pages object each time. Shoot, is that crazy? Return the updated pages object. Recursively crawl each URL you found on the page and update the pages to keep an aggregate count. I kind of hate that. Like, no, yeah, I do kind of hate that. I feel like what we should do is use like a global pages or something. No, I don't know if that, no, that doesn't seem right, does it? Okay, hold on. No, we don't want to use a global pages. Okay, I'm at the 2-hour 30 mark. Okay, I'm gonna take 5 minutes and think about this outside while I touch grass for 5 minutes, and then I'll come back and see if I've figured something out here. All right. All right. Sorry to step away for so long. Okay, so what I've determined is I 100% want to make pages a global object. So like, here's the thing. The whole point of using a single threaded event-based runtime like Node is that if you're smart about it, it makes this kind of thing super, super easy, extremely easy, right? It's single threaded, so we do not have to be concerned about thread safety in any way. And it's event-based, so we don't have to do things one at a time. We can just throw everything onto the event loop and have them all happen whenever they're ready to happen, right? So, so that's what we're going to do. So pages is going to be a global for sure. I'm not going to do this at all. I'm just going to resolve nothing. So then every time, yeah, so super easy. So if it's in the pages, we just do this and we resolve. Yeah, that makes way more sense. That makes way more sense. That's the whole point of Node, right? It makes this exact kind of thing super easy, right? Because it is single-threaded and event loop based. So, which is very based. It's the most based type of runtime you could have for this exact kind of thing. So we're just gonna go promise.all, and then we're gonna put in urls.map URL. Okay, so then each of these needs to return a promise. All right. And let's see. So yeah, so we're gonna go return new promise, resolve reject, right? And then here, we are gonna go crawl page. Wait a minute. Crawl page already returns a promise. Okay, let's not do that. Never mind. Crawl page, base URL, and that's it. Okay, cool. Where am I looking? Oh, down here. Okay, cool. Yeah, so pages will just be a global. I love it. Okay, so then once the promise.all comes back, that is when we resolve. Right? Okay, so let's see what mistakes I've made. Okay, so we return new promise. Okay, we're looking at crawl page here. Okay, so it's just like this. So we're return new promise, that's everything, okay. So this is if else. Love it. Amazing, amazing. Okay, so then we get URLs, promise.all. I'm fine with that, I think, and then sure, I'm fine with that. So we resolve after the promise.all comes back. Incredible. I think that's right. I think that's the way to do it. Now, of course, I have changed it a little bit from what was suggested here, where we passed in the pages like this. And so I went outside, I thought about it. I just don't think that this is taking advantage of the strengths of Node.js if we do it this way. I I just kind of think that this is more taking advantage of the strengths of Node.js as a single-threaded, event-based runtime. Okay, so recursively crawl each URL you found on the page, update the pages to keep an aggregate count. Finally, return the updated pages object. So yeah, again, I don't want to do that. So instead, what we're going to do is in main, we're just going to wait for the crawl to finish, and then we're just going to console log the pages. So let's go in there. Oh, that means I have to export the pages, excuse me. Let me go down. Okay, so let's go into main.js. And so we're going to crawl. And once this is complete, we are going to console log pages. But I have to import them. So let's do that. I'm I'm a little nervous. So we're gonna test. We should see accurate internal link counts. Okay, let's give it a shot, baby. Okay, so I'm gonna put that blog link in here. Paste. Here we go. Invalid URL. And which one was that? Failed to parse URL from... So it was input wags... Wait. Starting crawl, beginning with here. Type error, failed to parse URL from www.wagslane.dev, which was in the crawl.js 5. Oh, no, wait. We got down into 47. Okay, let's take a look. So we got down into here. You know what? The normalize. Oh, interesting. So when I do the normalize, I'm not putting the HTTPS. I'm taking that off because that's kind of what we were told to do in the beginning. So let's just put it back on right here. Okay, let's try it again. Okay. Cannot read properties of undefined reading match at get domain part from URL. Let's see, there was an if in there before, right? I think I messed that up a while ago now, but let's go back up there. Oh, where was that? Get domain part from URL. Oh, interesting. And it said what? Cannot read properties of undefined reading match. Oh, interesting. So we called that. Where did we call that? Right here, right? I believe. So base URL and current URL. So one of those was undefined, or maybe both. Crawl page. It was one of these undefined? Shoot. Okay, let's just go ahead and console log base URL, current URL. Okay, cannot read from undefined, so I see them both here, but then I see this only. Wagslane.dev. Why didn't I pass it in? Okay, let me look again. So nothing, wait a minute. Cannot read part, okay. Get domain part from 84. I think I messed it. Does the test work still? I think I probably broke the test, maybe. No, the test works still. Okay, never mind. It's on 84. So it's when we get to here. So it did match. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. This should have been, oh no, that should have been base URL, yeah. Interesting. So if href match, get domain part from, okay, so I think I probably never tested this one properly, huh? Or there should be another test for it, maybe, I don't know. So it was undefined. Okay, so I called normalize incorrectly. Oh, okay. Normalize URL, I only passed in the current URL. So what's actually supposed to be passed in? Okay, that was dumb. It's supposed to be input URL. No, that's still not it. Where is it? Crawl page. Oh, get URLs from HTML. Something's supposed to be passed in here. Okay, so let's say here. So let's say if not base URL, throw base URL is required. So now what does it do? Is that better? Base URL is required. Okay, much better. Okay. Okay, so base URL was supposed to be base URL here, right? I think so. Yeah, okay, let's try it again. Okay, so a lot is coming in. Seems normal so far. Uh-oh, no, this does not seem normal. It seems like it's going too long. It seemed like it went way too long, actually. And fetch failed. Okay, hold on. All right, we're gonna make this work and we're gonna finish. Okay, so where is console log? I'm gonna get rid of some of these. So that I think I want. Crawl page, catch error, console log error. Yeah, probably. It might be a lot though. All right, so then what we have to make sure of is that we're not getting it. See, this should already be in pages. So if it's already in pages, then we shouldn't be fetching, right? That's what we think at least. Okay. So it's going fetch failed quite a bit. I'm still seeing more than I thought I should. Oh, wait. Is it in the main? Let's see. Console log pages. Okay, I console logged a lot of errors. Fetch failed. I console logged a lot of fetch failed, I guess. But there was more than that, too. Like, are these errors? That seems like a lot. Oh man, oh man, oh man. I probably have deviated too much from the instructions. Okay, so starting crawl. Yeah, these should be fine. This should be fine. Yeah, none of that should run any more than once, I don't think. It's a lot of errors, I guess. Type error fetch failed. So I think the error itself is too much. I probably just want to see like the error message. Let me actually look that up. Error. I think we just want this error message. Where is it? I'm not Let's see. Okay, so they just say fetch failed. What is this? What is all this though? That's crazy. Oh, okay. These are the okay. Okay. Okay, so these are all the links. Interesting, interesting. Well, it sure does not seem to have worked. Let me fix that though. So this is, so just console logging the pages is too much. Let's JSON stringify pages. Oh my gosh. So I'm looking at a bunch of like GitHub and stuff. Hold on. I think I left out something important somewhere. Okay, so we were supposed to say if the base URL and current URL are not matching, then we're just supposed to resolve and not do any of the rest, right? So here we're supposed to reject. Why did I not reject? So that seems a little messed up. That should have been rejecting. Yeah, that should have for sure been rejecting. So I'm not sure that this get domain part even works. I should have tests for that specifically. Get domain part. So it's supposed to be whatever is before the first slash. Right? The first single slash. So the base URL goes in here. Okay. So yeah, I think it's clearly not working because I'm seeing these getting added to pages, which were not supposed to be added to pages at all. Okay, so let me see what's in the tests. Okay, so we need get domain part from URL. Is that what it was called? Yeah, okay. So down here, we need to do a test for that. So we're going to test can get domain part from URL. Let me just close that again so we're not so cramped. Okay, so we're going to say URLs equals, and they should just be like simple things, right? So blog.boot.dev slash hello world, right? https://github.com slash something. Maybe let me just start with those two. So then we're going to expect, no, we're going to go, let me make this plural. So we're going to say expect, no, URLs for each URL. I guess, well, shoot. Let's put expected domains equals. So then this first one will be blog boot.dev. And then this next one will be http. Oh my gosh, I see the problem now. I see the problem now. Okay, well, let me finish this. Okay, so this will fail, and we're gonna hate it. But I see the problem now. It was a bad regex. Surprise, surprise. Expect URL to be expected domains sub I. Right, so that should run, that should fail. Or, well, it shouldn't fail, but I expect it to fail. npm run test. Got a red? Okay, got a red. Oh, interesting. Oh, wait. I didn't finish it. Oh my gosh. Didn't finish it. Expect get domain part from URL. Okay. Okay, so now, not a function. I thought I checked that. Oh, it's not exported. That's the problem. Okay, so, yeah, yep, there it is. There's the failure I'm looking for. So now let's fix it. Where was that? Right here. Okay, so we can't use this regex. It is no good. It is no good. Instead, we need something here that is not a slash. Just like that. Does that fix it? Yeah, so, well, it passes now, and honestly, I believe that does fix it. Add test for broken, for formerly broken, get domain part from URL function. All right. So now if we do this, maybe it works better. Let's see. Not quite. Not quite. So when I get that domain part, what I'm doing, let's see, part of what I've done seems okay. but I think it probably should be normalized before checking. That kind of makes more sense to me. Oh no, that's really bad. Okay. So what are some of these that we're not crawling? Okay. So I saw this. I'm seeing double slashes like crazy. Okay, let's add a test to catch these double slashes always being added. Okay, so let's look here somewhere. So why are we adding a double slash? I'm not even sure. Um, Posts. Oh, so there's a trailing slash on here. Okay, let's go into the tests. There must be a trailing slash on there, yeah. Um, Put a trailing slash at the end of the domain. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so relative URLs. So these were okay, but there seems to be a case where I'm ending up with a slash at the end. So this will be test relative URLs get converted without doubling the slash when the base URL has just a single slash path or something. I'm not sure that's even the problem. I should try to figure out more like what is actually the problem. So let's see. So in this case, wait a minute. So we did these relative, wait a, shoot. So we did these relative URLs, we converted them to absolute URLs, but none of them were ever normalized. So part of the problem is when we're normalizing, I think. Or something like that. Okay, so it's pretty much the same. right? So it's like the same test basically, except this time we actually normalize as well. So we put this in here, and then the results are going to be get URLs from HTML, but then we are going to say map URL, and it's going to be, or actually it's just going to be normalize, I think. Yeah. Okay, let's run that test. Okay, so I got this. Okay, so it turned it to blog.boot.dev, so that's good. That's good. And the rest actually did match, interestingly enough. Huh. So the normalize there did work. Well, okay. Okay. Ah, but we ended up with a trailing slash. Yeah, clearly I don't know what the problem is exactly. Having those double slashes is messing me up, I know that much. Okay, so in the crawl, we know that these current URLs are coming in with double slashes in them for some reason. So what about when we normalize it? Wow, that is not how you spell it. Okay, so it has a double slash here, and it still has a double slash here. So the double slash is messing it up bad. Okay, so where am I creating this current URL? The current URL is supposed to be get URLs from HTML, and then we pass it in there. Okay. Oh man. Okay, so let's not console log these. Okay, so triple slash there, that's funny. All right, so shoot. So the double slash is okay if it's after the HTTPS colon, but otherwise not. It's not okay. Man, really messing me up. And so on here, it didn't look like there were double slashes like that. I'm probably on the wrong page though, to be looking for that. So let's go back to the start page. Why am I ending up with those double slashes? That's crazy. I do not know why. Let's see. It's gonna mess me up. Okay. All right, I gotta I gotta step aside for a second. Sorry, I'll be right back. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. All right. Well, pretty embarrassing. I don't know why I have these double slashes. Um, okay, shoot. Okay, so we're trying to crawl a page. Um, we're getting the URLs from the HTML, and they all like have these double slashes in them, so that's not gonna work. So and trying to normalize doesn't help. So probably what we need to do is when we go to normalize, we probably need to get rid of double slashes. Yeah, so after we've done this, we can just get rid of double slashes at this point, actually. So any place that we find a double slash, that can totally be replaced with just a single slash. In fact, it could be any number of slashes. Any number of slashes we can just replace with a single slash. Let's do that. Okay, here we go. Okay, unsupported content type application XML. Okay, so that should be, so if we hit an application XML, that shouldn't stop us. So why did I have that stop us? So that was, we caught and we rejected. Let me get rid of a console log. Let's get rid of that. We rejected, let's see, so I didn't, oh, does promise all stop as soon as something rejects? I think it does, maybe. Yeah, it rejects when any of the input promises rejects. So we can't do that. That's not cool. So we don't want to reject the error. We probably just want to resolve. So if we just resolve there, is that cool? I think it's fine, yeah. Okay, so we counted them all. So that's actually working now. Pretty crazy. Make the crawler work. All right, so now, what does it say? So return the updated pages object. Get the returned pages object and log it to the console. You should see accurate internal link counts. Okay, so now these do, I think these are what I remember having when I did this with the Go one, and I do think the Go one worked. I'm going to go ahead and mark this complete. Of course, I need to hit the potion first. I'm going to say I'm done. Okay, now what's next? Print a report. Okay, clean up the output so that it's more human readable. Let's add a print report to a new file called report.js. Okay. Okay, so the purpose of this function is to convert the pages object into something that looks good and can be logged to the console. Okay, so print that the report is starting. Okay, so we're going to say print report equals function print report takes pages console log report starting, and then we'll say sort the pages so that the pages with the largest number of inbound internal links are first. Okay, so are the pages supposed to go in? It's just supposed to go in as an object. Okay, so we're going to say object.entries pages sort a b sub 1 minus a sub 1 for each page page entry, and then we'll say found something like this. Okay, so for page entry, we'll say it is URL count. And we'll say module exports equals print report. Okay, what else do we need to say? Sort so that print each. Sure, I'm loving that. The actual sorting logic can probably be its own function that print report calls. That sorting function would be a good candidate for additional unit tests. I think I'm good, to be quite honest. I think, as far as I'm concerned, I think this is fine. But let's see if it actually works. So in here, instead of console logging pages, we are going to require report print report pages. Okay. Yeah, love it. Okay, so add the reporting function. All right. Cool. And we've still got this going. These are so stingy with the XP. I don't know if I'm going to make it to 150. We'll see. And submit the link to your repo. Okay. Let's find it in here. My repositories. Here it is. JavaScript web crawler. 15 commits. Love it. So I'm going to take this link, stick it here, and run all checks. It just checks that the repository exists, so that's fine. And there it is. You've completed the course. So now we come here and claim the 4K Will the 4K push us over the edge? It's the moment of truth. Yes! Just barely, but check it out. This means I'm the only player to hit the level 150 milestone. Number 2, I believe, so here's me. I am number 1 at level 150. And if we go here, I believe Dan is still number 2. He's got a pretty good lead over everybody else. And he's at 147. Amazing! Alright, so I consider this a success. I was pretty cranky at myself for the way I screwed up that double slash thing and took forever to resolve it, even though it was so easy. Other than that, pretty happy with these results, and I am going to end stream